So the exercise I have for you today is really designed to help you gain flat pick accuracy and consistency. It's very musical, it's very useful, it's fun to mess around with, it's fun to experiment with, and heck, you can even use the pieces I'm gonna show you today to create your own music with.
Guitar Geeks Unite!
Can doom scrolling help you on your guitar journey? Yes, we're gonna dig into this in today's episode, and I'm gonna share a rather controversial view about doom scrolling. I'm also gonna show you a pick that I've been putting through its paces, along with 5 others that I absolutely love and swear by. Plus, you're gonna hear a guitar story from Rob Z. Basically, one day everything was fine, and the next day it wasn't. And I believe the perspective that you'll gain from this story is gonna cause an immediate shift in the view, or on the view, of your own guitar journey. But first, we're gonna dig into a musical exercise that's gonna help you with control and confidence with your picking hand, and overall control and confidence with your flat pick in general. And the bonus, this is not a boring spider walk situation. This is a musical, useful exercise that you're gonna love playing. Let's go ahead and get into it. Before we dig in today, if you're learning guitar as an older adult, you really need to check out Tony's Acoustic Challenge. Every single week, I teach the fundamentals of guitar through nostalgic songs that you love, and over 41,000 older guitar learners are already inside. Go ahead and click the link in the description below to see how it works. So the exercise I have for you today is really designed to help you gain flat pick accuracy and consistency. And it's not the spider walk exercise. Yeah, everybody can do the spider walk sitting down in front of the TV. And it does help flat pick accuracy and consistency, but it's really boring, it's not musical, and ultimately, if somebody asks you to play something, you're not gonna bust out the spider walk and they're gonna be like, wow, that's so awesome, so memorable. So what I'm gonna show you today sounds like this. Now, I haven't given you the secret sauce quite yet, but as you can see, it's very musical, it's very useful, it's fun to mess around with, it's fun to experiment with, and heck, you can even use the pieces I'm gonna show you today to create your own music with. But really what I'm targeting in on today is flat pick accuracy and consistency with both down and up strokes. Being able to find those strings with your flat pick on an upstroke or a downstroke, regardless of where the string is or what stroke you're on, I want you to be accurate. And this particular exercise really does help that. So first, let's go ahead and go over the shapes. There are 2 distinct shapes that I'm gonna show you here, and I'm gonna refer to them as a staggered shape or a stacked shape. Let me go ahead and show you what they are. I'll get your fingers on the fretboard, and then I'll go ahead and show you the actual picking pattern. So first and foremost, we're gonna start out with a staggered shape. Index finger, 1st fret of the B, middle finger, 2nd fret of the D, and you're gonna strum from the D string down through the high E like this. You're gonna slide that middle finger up to the 3rd fret of the D. Your ring finger will grab the 3rd fret of the B. That is a stacked shape. Again, strum from the D string through the high E. So we have staggered, stacked. Take that stacked shape and move it up 2 frets towards the body, so each finger is on the 5th fret of the D and B string, respectively, keeping the G and the high E string open. And then you're gonna take that middle finger, slide to the 7th fret of the D string, index finger grabs the 6th fret of the B. This is a staggered shape. Take this staggered shape, move it towards the guitar body 2 more frets so it spans the 9th and the 8th, 9th fret of the D, 8th fret of the B. Then you're gonna take that middle finger, grab the 10th fret of the D, ring finger, 10th fret of the B, another stacked shape. Take this stacked shape, move it to the 12th fret, again, keeping that G and high E string open. And then you're gonna finish things out with a staggered shape, middle finger, 14th fret of the D, index finger, 13th fret of the B. So we have the following shapes: staggered, stacked, stacked, staggered, staggered, stacked, stacked, staggered. Now this in and of itself is beautiful, and you can get a lot of creative outlet just through this, mixing and matching these shapes. that in and of itself is cool. But we're gonna take it one step further in terms of flat pick accuracy. And I want you to follow a distinct pattern while doing each of these shapes. You're gonna go down on the D string, up on the G, down on the B, up on the high E. Down, up. You're picking across the strings. You're really honing in on where the flat pick is going and what string it is hitting. And you're doing it on different pick strokes, which again is really gonna build some precision accuracy on your flat pick, which is gonna help whether you're playing scales, whether you're playing a memorable signature lick from a song. It's going to help big time, and it's a fun musical way to work on it. So again, down on the D, up on the G, down on the B, up on the high E. Go to the next shape, do that same pattern. Next shape, same pattern. Next shape, next shape, next shape. Right? That's just step number one, okay? Well, not really step number one, but you get the idea. That's kind of the flat pick accuracy step number one. You've got the shapes, you know which strings you're hitting, you've got this wonderful pattern. Now, you can do that in succession over each shape, or if you're just getting used to this, just stick with one shape and just repeat it. You're gonna start to get an awareness of the real estate that your flat pick is moving through, which is really awesome in developing confidence and knowing that you're gonna hit the string that you intend to hit. And I want you to do that pattern over each shape, like I mentioned before. Speed is not the ultimate goal here. Accuracy is the ultimate goal. Whether you're going through it at this speed or it's actually irrelevant. I just want you to have clear, consistent, evenly spaced notes. Now, when you get this basic pattern down, this down, up across the D, G, B, and high E string, I want you to actually ratchet up the difficulty just one notch. This is totally optional, but really fun if you want to explore it further. You're going to go down on the D, up on the G, down on the B, up on the high E, like you did before, but then you're going to reverse it. You're going to go down on the high E, up on the B, down on the G, up on the D. So that will sound like this. And you'll do it for each shape. A great way to work on that flat pick accuracy and do so in a musical way that is fun to share. You know, if somebody hears you playing this, they're gonna be like, wow, that sounds beautiful, as opposed to, which is basically like watching paint dry. Let me know in the comments below how that exercise landed for you. I know when I first discovered it, I was floored. I was really excited because I wasn't doing some boring chromatic exercise that didn't sound like music. I was making music all the while building technique and confidence with my flat pick. So I hope it does the same for you. Again, let me know in the comments below. I want to share with you this pick that I've been working with, putting through its paces, and am really enjoying. From a company that's not really known for making flat picks. We'll get to this in a second, but first, I want to share a couple of musical findings with you. The first of which is an older gentleman named Frank Watkinson. I don't even know how I came across this, but I was floored. He posted a cover of Blink-182's I Miss You, and I'm a huge Blink-182 fan. It takes me right back to high school. But when I heard his cover, all I could think of was Johnny Cash covering Nine Inch Nails' Hurt. I would say Frank is maybe in his 60s, and his voice and his arrangement of the song is absolutely beautiful. Let's listen to a snippet of it right now.
Where are you? And I'm so sorry. I cannot sleep, I cannot dream tonight. I need somebody and always. This sick, strange darkness comes creeping on so haunting every time. And as I stared, I counted.
I've got another musical discovery for you, one that I'm really excited to share with you because I've been holding on to it for a long time. One of the great things about bringing the Acoustic Tuesday show back is that I'm forced to find new music to help you discover it, and in turn, it helps me discover it. It's like a forcing hand. I think I can fall into ruts with listening to music where I listen to the same thing over and over and over again. So being forced to kind of go out on a limb and try new things is fantastic. But the folk duo that I'm about to share with you, I've known about for a long time. I think 2 summers ago, Charlie Parr was in town. He played a gig at the Elm here in Bozeman, and I played with him on that gig. And opening for Charlie on that particular show was a folk duo from Minnesota called The Lowest Pair. Wow, folk duo to their core. You've got double banjo, you've got guitar and banjo, you've got guitar and guitar, and you've got 2 unique and beautiful voices singing. Let's listen to a quick sample from The Lowest Pair. This is the traditional song, Fall on My Knees. They recorded this during a live stream some years ago, but it just kind of haunts me, and I wanted to share it with you because I think it exemplifies what they are so truly good at down to their core, and that's just singing traditional songs and putting their own twist on them. I think you'll immediately know what I'm talking about when I say unique and beautiful voices. Here they are.
Oh, but I fall on my knees, begging me, please won't you come and stand by me, baby? Come and stand by me.
One more news nugget for you that's not necessarily new news by any means, but I want to get your opinion. I feel like every YouTuber over the last couple months has covered this because it's a headline, and headlines get views, and everybody's after views, so everybody and their uncle started putting videos about it, speculating about what's going to happen, blah, 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 blah. A company that's associated with Fender, I believe the company is called Servco, just purchased Reverb from Etsy. If you're not familiar with Reverb, it's basically like eBay for musical instruments. It's a very targeted resale site where you can put your guitars up for sale on, and it will get in front of the eyes of other guitar players, other musicians. And of course, if you're searching for a guitar, you can go on Reverb, spend hours and hours and hours on it looking for things that you don't even need. Not saying I don't have it. I have no experience with that whatsoever. But the overall hypothesis is that since this acquisition, Reverb's totally going to change. They're going to start pushing Fender products. It's going to become an outlet for Fender guitars. I just don't see that. I don't see that happening. And this is where I want to get your opinion. You know, I see Reverb as a search-based store. So you search, if I'm looking for a Gibson J45, I type in Gibson J45, boom, I get a bunch of Gibson J45s, new, used, vintage, old, new, whatever. I don't see typing in Gibson J45 and then pushing a bunch of Fender acoustic guitars on me. It just doesn't make sense for the business model that Reverb has. And I don't think that they would change their business model. Maybe the fees will increase, maybe the fee structure will change. I just don't see it causing this sweeping change. But I'm curious what your opinion is. Maybe you've seen some changes already if you're an avid Reverber. Maybe you've seen some changes already and you're like, yeah, this is no good, no bueno. Let me know in the comments below what you think about it. I don't really see any harm in it, to be honest, and there, that's my opinion. I want to know yours. So let's move on to this pick that I've been trying out. It comes from the folks at Black Mountain. It is their Tagua or vegetable ivory pick. It's very similar-ish to a bone pick in terms of its hardness and its stiffness, but it creates a little bit more of a warm tone. It's not as edgy or as crispy as a bone pick would be. This was sent to me by the folks at Black Mountain. In fact, I got a whole box of them here. I think I got about 12 of them. I've been trying them out and I really like them. If you're like a bluegrass picker or somebody that primarily uses a flat pick and likes a stiffer, harder pick, that's actually pretty thick, this would be a great pick to try. I feel like it has a good organic feel. Again, it retains some articulation, but has a little bit of warmth behind it as well. In terms of price, these go for about $5.50 a pick. You can get 4 of them for $20, so pretty inexpensive experiment for your acoustic guitar. Now, since we're on the topic of picks, I'm gonna give you a little trivia question. Then I'm gonna share with you 5 picks that I absolutely love. If you're into experimenting with picks, I think this list of 5 picks will give you some options to try out of varying price points. But first, the trivia question. Which bluegrass guitarist and Winfield flat-picking guitar champion played guitar and mandolin on 6 tracks from Taylor Swift's Red album? Yes, this mashes 2 things that I love. Taylor Swift and bluegrass. Not necessarily 2 things that you'd even mention in the same sentence. Again, the question, which bluegrass guitarist and Winfield flat-picking guitar champion played guitar and mandolin on 6 tracks from Taylor Swift's Red album? Shoot your guesses down in the comments below. I'm curious to who you think it is. We'll get to the answer in just a minute, but first, let's talk picks that I absolutely love and swear by. This is in no particular order because I interchange these picks pretty frequently. The first one is a blue chip TAD-1R80. This pick comes in at, where did I put it here? This pick comes in at $50, so it's not necessarily an inexpensive pick, but in the realm of guitar experiments, I think this is on the lower end of the price spectrum. I dig this pick. It's a little bit more of a fatter triangle. It's got a rounded edge, so you get this nice warmth. It's stiff. It doesn't really flex all that much, so it drives through the string. I like it for my longer scale guitars. Think Dreadnoughts, 25.4-inch scale. Big fan of that pick. The next pick I want to share with you is the Chris Thile Signature Caisson pick. This is from D'Addario, and it comes in at $25. Very similar in shape to the blue chip pick that I mentioned, but this is a Caisson pick, so it's like a protein. Very, well, it replicates tortoise shell as best as you can. It's not tortoise shell, but it has some of that same organic feel. It has a little flex to it. Don't flex it too much. It will break, and don't get these wet because they will warp. I played a gig in the rain, and I had a bunch of these in a pick box down by my pedal board that was getting some mist on it. And then the next day, I went to play and the picks were all kind of concave, which I actually ended up really liking. But just keep in mind that this pick will warp, it will break if you flex it too much. But I like the stiffness, I like the snap of it, and I also like how it can kind of organically wear down the edge. So you get this kind of softer attack, not necessarily crispy attack, but a nice softer, warm, more organic attack. Again, those are $25. Those are 1.4 millimeters, so they're pretty thick. Not necessarily for the faint of heart if you like a thinner pick, a more whippy pick. Next one I've got for you is the Apollo pick. Apollo Picks is a company, handmade picks. Also, I believe they use casein or some sort of synthesized protein. This one, I like the A-shape. The A-shape pick, and in particular, if you look at the A-shape picks on their website, there's a little grid so you can see which one you want. I particularly like the C3, which is 1.3 millimeters thick. Again, it's a fatter triangle. I like that because it gives my thumb a little bit more surface area. Those come in at $40. And then what else do we have here in my list? Oh, this one's great. This is the old standby. This is the Road Dogg pick. These come in at less than $1 a piece. The Dunlop Ultex Sharp 2.0 millimeter. These are my old standby. I can buy them in bulk. I don't care if I lose them because we all know they're gonna get lost. It's basically $5 for a pack of 6. You can get a pack of 72 here. How much is a pack of 72? $43. What a steal, what a deal. I like the sharp edge on them because after a while it wears down and it creates this wonderful bevel. And I think it's because of that sharp point. The bevel is a little bit more friendly. It feels a little bit more ergonomic. I don't know if that's the right term, but it just feels like my hand is able to be more relaxed. The texture of the Ultex kind of has some built-in grip to it, or at least that's what I perceive. This is a smaller platform, so it's not a huge triangle. It's more of a teardrop, again, with that sharper edge. I really dig that, again, for kind of bluegrass guitar flat picking, but also that sharp pick allows you to do some delicate stuff. I feel like that pick in particular, I have great dynamic control in terms of how heavy and how soft I'm playing. And then the last one on my list, the first quote-unquote fancy pick that I ever tried, the Red Bear Style C Heavy Pick. and that comes in at 27 bucks. Very similar to the D'Addario Chris Thiele signature pick. I like the Style C, the heavy gauge. Again, this is a pick that you don't want to flex because it is made from casein or a synthesized protein. So it resembles tortoise shell, but it can be pretty brittle. But with that brittleness comes some stiffness and snap that I just really, really dig. You can get them with grip holes drilled in them. And just an overall great pick. They have got some great finishes and various patterns. But again, I like that larger triangle pick. So there's 5 of them for you to try. Along with the Black Mountain, that makes it 6. 6 experiments for you, all under 50 bucks. You know, what was the one that was 50 bucks? The blue chip? Yeah, the blue chip was 50 bucks. Not terrible, not the worst. It looks like you can get them in a range of prices. But just wanted to share those with you because we're talking a lot about flat picking today. And I thought, you know what? It's time. It's time to share with you my newly updated list of 5 favorite picks. Like I said, I kind of try out picks as they come out, and those are the ones. And there's been a lot of standbys. A lot of ones that have been on there for a long time. That Dunlop Altex, that particular pick is the fault of Robbie Folks. When I worked at the Old Town School, he used to order picks in bulk. And I think I mistakenly ordered 2 bags of these sharp Altex picks, and I thought, well, I'll just throw them in the pick box, and if people want to buy them, great. Well, nobody ended up buying them. So I started using them, and I thought, these are pretty brilliant. I dig these quite a bit. Okay, let's move on. Oh, quickly, before I move on to the next section here, I want to get into Rob Z's guitar story. It is one that immediately changed my perspective. I think it's going to change yours as well. But first, I want to know if you tried any of those picks, or more importantly, what's your favorite pick? Let's make the comments a wonderful resource for people that are into pick experimentation. Let me know. Drop a line and let me know what you use, what you like, maybe even why you like it. Let's move to Rob Z's story. I want to share more of these guitar stories on the Acoustic Tuesday show. I'm going to force this. I'm going to make this a regular segment on the Acoustic Tuesday show because I feel like it is so vital in a world of fakeness, AI, all these fabricated things, even some of the guitar playing online, Instagram, etc. You just look at it and you're like, this can't be real. I want to share real stories from real guitar players leading real lives, regular lives like you and I. And I just think it is so important to understand what the guitar means for these people, for you, for me, because it puts us in touch with an element of guitar that is undefinable. You can't define this X factor that the guitar brings into your life. And I think Rob Z's story is a wonderful one that shows this in spades. Basically, his life took a major detour, and he was left dealing with some things that he didn't want to deal with, and he didn't really choose to deal with. But he persevered, and I think you're really going to dig the perspective shift that this will cause in you. Here's Rob Z's story. The day of the accident changed everything. My wife and I were driving home from one of my daughter's cross-country meets when it happened. One minute we were laughing about her race. The next, we were pulled into a crash that would derail both our lives. My wife lost her career as a cosmetologist due to injuries in her hand. And for me, it began a slow, grinding battle, one surgery after another, as doctors tried to save the feeling in my fretting hand. They moved my ulnar nerve, wrapped it, tried to shield it. For 10 years, it was the same cycle. Surgery, recovery, hope, and then another surgery. Every time I'd heal enough to pick up my guitar again, another surgery would rip the progress away. Most people would have quit. Maybe I should have, but I didn't. Somewhere deep inside, that stubborn kid who used to strum and dream still believed there was music left to play. 2 years ago, doctors tried one last thing, a nerve transfer using cadaver nerves to bridge my damaged ulnar nerve back to life. It helped a little. Not enough to erase the burning and aching, not enough to bring full feeling back to my ring and pinky fingers, but enough. Enough to try again. I can't feel my ring and pinky properly. My thumb doesn't work the way it should. I can't keep my elbow bent for long, and yet I'm learning guitar every day. It's not pretty, it's not easy, but it's mine. When I found Tony's Acoustic Challenge, it felt like someone finally understood the invisible battle I was fighting. The small, consistent steps, the permission to find my own way around the obstacles, the idea that progress matters more than perfection. I've practiced at least 10 minutes a day for 16 months straight. Some days are painful, some days are pure joy. Bar chords may always be beyond me, but workarounds exist. Music exists. I exist. And that's enough. Every time I pick up my guitar, it's an act of defiance against everything that tried to stop me. And every time I hear a note ring out, even a simple one, it feels like winning. Every Friday, we email out a guitar story just like this to remind you what really matters, so your playing stays rooted in meaning, not just practice. If you'd like to receive the Friday email or submit a guitar story of your own, go to guitarstories.com. Okay, let's talk about doom scrolling for a second. I've talked a lot about fakeness and this online environment that we find ourselves in that is really, it's really negative. I'm not even talking about news. I'm talking about watching other guitar players and having this terrible comparison feeling, this comparison thinking that drives you to these conclusions that aren't helpful at all. I'll never be that good, or that guitar player plays it so well, I'll never be able to do that. Always comparing yourself to somebody else, which steals the joy from anything really, but I think especially with guitar playing because we're just inundated with it. You know, if you look up anything guitar on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, the algorithm just snatches you up and takes you for a ride. But doom scrolling can lead to a guitar breakthrough. And I'm going to share my own story with this. I go through phases with doom scrolling. I think we all kind of do, where we find ourselves in this habit of, like, before bed or, you know, at a down moment in the day, just pick up your phone and just start scrolling away. And pretty soon, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, 40 minutes, an hour has passed and you haven't done anything. And you're left with this feeling of emptiness, of I wasted all this time, this is terrible. Well, I found myself in that phase for a pretty good length of time, 2, 3, 4 months. I would, you know, the kids would go to bed, Whitney would go to bed, and I'd find myself staying up late, just scrolling on my phone. And for what reason? And I would wake up feeling terrible, like I wasted the night. I was tired, I wasn't getting enough sleep. So I thought to myself, what if I just took that doom scrolling time and I used that as a trigger for me to play guitar? Now, I already play guitar during the day because that's what I do for my life, right? Gig, teach, etc. So I thought, what if I just use this as a trigger to play guitar? So if I ever picked up my phone in the evening, I would immediately associate that with, no, this is your time to play guitar. That's a much more relaxing, rewarding thing to do before bed than to just sink into this digital world of negativity and comparison. So I did that. I did that for a good chunk of time. We're talking probably 4 months, 5 months, 6 months. And I ended up writing my entire new album. It launched me into this creative explosion, for lack of a better term, where I found myself just being inspired again. Not watching other people play guitar, but doing it myself, stumbling, fumbling, creating new things. And out from it came 10 new songs, which I never would have had if I just kept that routine of just sinking into the chair and just zombieing out on my phone. So I guess the reason I bring this up is maybe that's something you can do. If you find yourself on your phone watching other people play guitar, if you find yourself on your computer watching other people play guitar, use that as a trigger. Think to yourself, okay, cool, I watched that video. I'm gonna go do that now. I'm gonna go live in the moment, live in the real world, play my own guitar and see what happens. I'm just curious, you know, in the comments, has doom scrolling trapped you? Do you have a problem with doom scrolling? And don't be shy. I mean, I think this is something we all deal with in one degree or another. I know I certainly did, but getting out of it really showed me a completely different end of the spectrum. Like I said, you know, I play guitar most days for a long time. And I always thought, oh, the evenings are just my time to relax. But it turns out looking at the internet or Instagram or whatever is not all that relaxing. It has this huge negative impact on your brain. So changing that, flipping that on its head and saying, okay, cool, I checked out a video, but you know what? No, it's my time right now. I'm not going to let my phone dictate what I do. I'm going to dictate what I do. And just some wonderful, beautiful new songs came out of it. I can't wait for the album to be out in the real world. It's in mastering right now, so it's going to be a second. But I just wanted to share that with you because I think that's something that, well, I think that we all can benefit from that. Let's talk about one more thing on that. I want to get to our trivia answer, but one of the things that's important to me with this new version of the Acoustic Tuesday show is that I help guide you through the mental aspect of guitar playing. Because I think a lot of times we're on an island. We're either A, afraid to ask questions because we might feel silly for asking them, or you might get, absolutely torched on some online forum for asking a quote unquote stupid question, which is irrelevant. If you don't know something, the only way to find out is to ask a question, right? And I want to be able to be there for you on the mental side of things. It's really important. Like I said, I feel like sometimes we're alone on this island, especially if you're learning, at your home. If you're learning later in life, there's this weird identity thing that, you reach a certain age and you feel like you should know a bunch of stuff, but if you're trying something new, you don't. So you kind of shell up a little bit. You sink in and think, maybe I'm not cut out for this. You are cut out for this. And I want to be here to help you through that mental aspect of playing. I think it's very, very important, almost more important than the physical side of playing, because that will come if you have the right attitude, I promise. Okay, off the soapbox. Let's get to your trivia answer. Just a quick reminder of the question, if I can find it here. Which bluegrass guitarist and Winfield flat-picking guitar champion played guitar and mandolin for 6 tracks on Taylor Swift's album Red? And the answer is Carl Miner. If you have not heard Carl Miner, do yourself a favor and just type his name in the search bar in YouTube. You will be delighted with endless guitar reviews with absolutely stunning playing. It is no doubt that Taylor Swift was like, I want that guy to play guitar on my album. He's fantastic. Carl Miner, again, if you didn't catch that on the first round. And if you also, I have a couple other recommendations for you to listen to. If this particular episode got you excited about flat picking, cross picking, bluegrass guitar picking, I've got a couple other artists that I want you to check out. David Greer, Brian Sutton, Molly Tuttle, of course. Carl Miner, of course, whom I mentioned, Doc Watson and Tony Rice, amongst many others. Norman Blake, Josh Workman, Jake Eddy, there's a billion, Chris Eldridge. I just wanted to give you a good list. If you really want to sink your teeth into some really fine flat picking, folks that show great control of their flat pick, that's a good list of artists to start on. Good list of artists to start with. And if you're looking for a crash course, one single album you can get, Brian Sutton's Not Too Far From the Tree. Not Too Far From the Tree, I think so. It's a gray cover with an apple tree. The apple's red. It's basically Brian Sutton playing duets with just flat-picking luminaries from all different eras. I think you'll really dig that. And with that, I think it's time to wrap up the show. I'm looking at my notes and I don't see anything else. Before I do sign off, I do want to recommend that if you are an older adult learning guitar, please check out Tony's Acoustic Challenge. Every single week, I teach you the guitar fundamentals through nostalgic songs that you love. There's over 41,000 students already in there. And if you want to learn more about it, please click on the description, the link in the description below. You can learn more about Tony's Acoustic Challenge, the program, how it's laid out, and how people really enjoy it. I encourage you to check out the reviews. It's really fun to read them, obviously on my part, because people really dig the program. And more importantly, I think it's made a really huge positive impact in their lives. So please check that out. Again, the link is in the description below. Before I do sign off officially, let's take a sneak peek into next week. Next week, it's all about altering your tone, from guitars with rubber bridges to wacky devices to doing stuff with nothing. Altering your guitar's tone, your acoustic guitar's tone, to give yourself a different perspective, give yourself a different view of your acoustic guitar and what it's capable of. We're also going to be addressing the question, does better gear make you a better player? Some say yes, some say no. I'm going to give you my take on it in next week's episode. And then also, of course, I'll be sharing another guitar story. I've got 3 in the running. These guitar stories have been coming in, and I am floored. I'm just floored. A lot of times I'm speechless after reading these. I haven't decided which one I'm going to share on next week's episode, but I can guarantee you it's going to be a dandy. You can catch Acoustic Tuesday every single Tuesday at 10 a.m. Mountain Time. Thank you so much for watching today. Thank you for sharing your time with me. Time is our most valuable thing, so I really do appreciate you watching. I certainly don't take it lightly. I value everybody that views the show. And do remember this, your guitar success, however you define it for yourself, is directly related to your guitar routine. So please invest the time in developing your guitar routine and make sure to have fun every single day that you play, because honestly, that is what it's all about. It's not about playing on stage and melting faces. It's about that inherent fulfillment that you get from the guitar. And that's something that I want the Acoustic Tuesday show to really highlight, because that's what it's all about. It's about having fun, feeling awesome about something that you're doing for you. That means a whole hell of a lot. Thank you again for watching today, and I'll see you next Tuesday on the Acoustic Tuesday show. Cheers to you.